Part 12. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Leo Meyer. Chapter 111. Chapter 111 Filming Scene. The next day, Jerry brought Mukinjian and Boyi to the set. Everyone is busy and countless actors are in place. Makeup artists of various styles are applying makeup to the actors, and extra actors are wearing scary makeup. Mukinjian looked at the extras playing zombies with great interest. The extras looked at her and gave her a friendly smile. But because he looked so scary, his smile was extremely terrifying. He thought he had scared someone, so he quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, beautiful lady, I didn't scare you, did I?" She shook her head. "It didn't scare me, I just sighed that the makeup artist's skills were really amazing and very realistic." The male makeup artist smiled and said, "Haha, thank you for exaggerating." At this time, Discruya came over with several actors and said, "Miss Mu, you had a good rest last night." Mukinjian turned around and smiled politely, "Thank you Mr. Discruya for the hospitality. I slept very comfortably yesterday." He smiled and introduced the people around him. "This is the male protagonist Jacques Davis, this is the female protagonist Irene and Werther and Jacta. These two are Kung Fu stars from Country H, Mukinjian and Boyi. I hope you can spend this thrilling time happily." Jacques Davis politely stretched out his hand and shook it, which was regarded as acquaintance with the two of them. Aruina looked at the beautiful girl and said, "Hello Mukinjian, you are so beautiful. You are the most beautiful female star from Country H I have ever seen." "Thank you for the compliment. Miss Aya is also very beautiful. Please allow me to call you like this." She laughed and said, "The name is used to call you how I call you. Miss Aya, just call me Xiaomu." "Haha, okay Xiaomu." Discruya clapped his hands and praised, "Now that we have gotten to know each other, let's quickly change our clothes. Put on makeup and get ready to start shooting. I look forward to everyone's wonderful performance." Several makeup artists took them to the dressing room, and makeup artist Miley looked at her skin. "Miss Mu's skin is like milk, white, tender and smooth. It's so enviable." Mukinjian looked at herself in the mirror and said, "Thank you, Miss Miley's skin is also very good." "Haha, no matter how good you are, you can't compare with Miss Mu. Your skin is more delicate and fairer than the skin of us white people in Country M. I'm very curious about what kind of skincare products Miss Mu uses." Miley touched her face with envy. "I just use some skincare products I made myself, and nothing else." Miley asked curiously, "I would like to take the liberty to ask how old Miss Mu is this year, because it is difficult for you people in H country to tell your true age." "I am 19 years old this year and a sophomore at school." Miley smiled in surprise, "That's very young." The two chatted for a while, and she looked at Mukinjian's face. "Okay, Miss Mu, take a look and you'll be satisfied." "Okay, thank you Miss Miley." After all, she was very white, so she just made her look more heroic. After a few people put on their makeup, they came to the noisy place in the city, which had been booked by the crew. Now they are all extras, which shows how much money director Discruya has invested in this movie. Zombies and extras are ready, and they can be seen in the bustling streets. A woman stumbled among the crowd, looking panicked, her face covered with tiny black weird meridians. Suddenly she fell to the ground motionless, and the people around her couldn't help but stop and look at her curiously. A bold man walked up to her. "Hello ma'am, what's wrong with you?" The filming was stopped immediately, the makeup artist was asked to do makeup for the actors, and filming continued. I saw the woman twitching wildly in a weird posture, and her skin became weird. Finally, he suddenly pounced on the man just now, opened his fangs and bit the man's aorta. Blood spattered on the spot, frightening all the onlookers to step back. Several men stepped forward to grab the crazy woman, but were bitten by the woman. Shortly stop putting makeup on the actors and then resume filming. The man who had just been bitten also put on his makeup, immediately stood up again with a strange posture, and bit the person next to him. The person who was bitten came back to life at a rapid speed and continued to bite the living people around him. At this time, Mukinjian and Boyi, who were also walking on the street, appeared. They looked at the crowd biting each other. Boyi said in surprise, "Xiao Yan, what's wrong with them? Why did they suddenly start biting?" Mukinjian frowned and said, "Quickly leave, this place is not safe. These people will turn into this kind of thing after being bitten." Suddenly the zombies around them began to attack them, and the two of them kicked the zombies away with their agile movements. Fortunately they were wearing protective gear, otherwise it would have been so painful. Director Descruya looked at their handsome martial arts moves and immediately asked zombies to surround the two of them and attack them. The two were running and fighting when they saw a man being suppressed by several zombies. Mukinjian stepped forward to help, and the man was rescued. The person who was rescued was the male protagonist Jacques Davis. "Thank you, thanks to you. Let's go quickly, if you don't go, it will be over." She spoke smooth language. The three of them fought the zombies all the way and finally ran to a safe supermarket. After closing the door, several people sat on the ground exhausted, without any appearance at all. They rested for a while, and the man from Country M looked at them gratefully. "Thank you, my name is Jacques Davis, from China." Boyi nodded politely. "Hello, this is my sister Mukinjian, my name is Boyi, and we are from H country." Director Descruya shouted happily, "Okay, perfect." Mukinjian and the other three stood up in embarrassment. After all, they had all been beaten by a group of people just now. He stood in front of them happily. "The acting is very good, and the sense of immersion is great. The martial arts moves of Miss Mew and Mr. Bo are really perfect." Jacques Davis looked in agreement. "As a lady, Miss Mew really shocks me. Your kung fu is very powerful." "Thank you, Mr. Yake is also very good at martial arts. You've finished shooting today's scene, you can go back and rest first. Jerry will continue to bring you to the set tomorrow, so have a good rest." Descruya smiled. The two of them had a good meal and went back to the house to rest. Boyi also returned to his room feeling a little tired. He has not slept for 2 nights. He was really too excited. He has been working hard all day and he feels sleepy. Mukinjian, who was practicing at night, did not enter the space. After all, it's always unsafe in someone else's home. Looking at her phone, it already showed that it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and she could go to bed just in time. Just when she lay on the bed and closed her eyes, she noticed a strange smell in the air. She slowly opened her eyes, stood up, and came to the balcony on the 2nd floor. Looking at the strange villa not far away with his spiritual consciousness, he was surrounded by a huge demonic aura, and the darkness was so oppressive that it was indescribable. There are not simple things in that villa. It seems that we need to ask Descruya what happened. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 112. Chapter 112. It's actually a demon corpse. One night after a few busy days, they finished their dinner quietly. Mukinjian looked at him and said, "I have some questions that I would like to ask Mr. Descruya." He put down his coffee. "Oh. If you have any questions, tell me. Mr. Descruya, is there anyone living in the villa a few hundred meters away from my room?" After hearing this, his expression changed. Why did Miss Mew suddenly ask this question? "It's just an abandoned house." Mukinjian smiled and shook her head. "It seems that you don't know the seriousness of the matter, so let me tell you. There must be something strange in that villa. You must be raising a monster." Descruya could no longer control his emotions and roared, "Who told you? Was it Jerry?" "No one told me." I forgot to mention that my profession is a magic stick. Just like the exorcists and priests in your country, so I can naturally feel it. I hope Mr. Descruya will stop hiding the truth. So you can feel it, right? I heard that there are some capable people in country. Are you one of them? He looked at her with some hope. Well, so Mr. Descruya, tell me the truth as you know it. Why don't you go find someone to eliminate it, but keep it? He covered his head helplessly. Actually, the person inside is my wife, and she is not dead. But in the past 6 months, she suddenly became crazy. I asked countless people to see her, but none of them could cure her. She is very excited about people. It's so crazy that she doesn't even recognize me anymore. She was very aggressive and it was difficult for us to get close to her, so I had her locked in that room. I would send her some food every day and she would finish it every time, so I knew she was alive. Mukinjian came here and encountered such a situation for the first time. I think I can go and have a look. I am very curious about your wife's current condition, so please make sure Mr. Descruya lets me in. Xiao Yan, do you want me to go with you? It's too dangerous. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it alone. No, if you go in it will affect my performance. It'll be fine if you stay outside. She rejected Boyai's idea. Seeing that she insisted on going, Descruya had to hand her the key. Miss Mew, I hope you can protect yourself. If you can save my wife, I will be very grateful to you. Mukinjian came to the villa, opened the door, and closed it. Looking at the dark room, there were scratches on the walls and floor. The whole house was filled with the smell of blood, which was very uncomfortable. At this time, there was a harsh and unpleasant sound of nails scratching on the wall upstairs. A woman wearing a white nightgown walked down slowly, her fingernails holding onto the wall as she walked down step by step. Her white nightgown was already stained with blood. It was obvious that the food Descruya fed her was living animals. Luckily it was the blood of animals. If he was feeding people, that would really disappoint her. At this time, when the woman reached the platform, she stopped. Suddenly he raised his head and roared from his mouth. Roar. Looking at her strange and blue face and body, she looked very much like the female zombies in the movies she has been filming these days. She was exuding demonic aura, with a pair of ruby-like eyes, and she rushed towards her with teeth and claws. Mukinjian nimbly dodged her attack. Her nails scratched on the floor, making a harsh sound. Her fast and weird speed is not like the zombies in the movie. Roar. She looked impatient, lying on the ground like a cat, her nails scratching the floor. He quickly attacked her again, and after several rounds, Mukinjian stepped on her to the floor. He tore off the curtain and bit his finger to draw a blood talisman, then tied her up with the curtain and tied her to a pillar. The woman struggled desperately but couldn't break free, and roared angrily. It's useless for you to struggle. I didn't expect you to be a demon corpse. I didn't expect someone to be so vicious as to do this to a living person. But fortunately you met me. Fortunately, you still have your own consciousness. Fall in completely, otherwise even the gods won't be able to save you. He took out a bottle of medicine from his arms and stuffed it into her mouth. He took out his spare items and set up a formation around her. With words in his mouth, the formation suddenly shone with golden light, and the woman screamed in pain inside. It frightened Descruya and Boyai who were outside. Why they suddenly shouted so loudly. They wanted to go in, but found that they could not open the door, so they had to continue waiting anxiously. The formation disappeared completely, and the woman fainted completely. Elsewhere, a strange man spit out a mouthful of blood and roared, "Who is it? Who broke my heart? You almost succeeded. Damn it, I won't let you go." Looking at the woman whose face slowly returned to normal, she knew she was fine. Carried the person out. After all, she had just exorcised the evil spirit, and it would not be good for her to stay here any longer. When Descrua saw Mukinjian holding a woman covered in blood in his arms, he knew that it was his wife. He ran over happily and shouted anxiously, "Elsa, can you hear what I say? I am Kruha." She handed Elsa to him. "She is fine. She will wake up tomorrow. It will be good for her to get more sunshine in the future." He took her and said, "Thank you very much, Miss Mew. Please allow me to take her back now and thank you again tomorrow." "Nothing, Mr. Descrua, please go back with your beloved wife first. Let's talk about tomorrow's matters tomorrow." "Okay, Miss Mew, take a good rest, thank you for your hard work." After they left, Boy put his head over. "What's going on with her? What happened to you inside just now? That roar of ghosts and wolves is not like a human cry at all." A little later, "Maybe it's not a human being, it's a demon." "No. This world is too dangerous." "Does it even have demons?" Boy said fearfully. "Well, anyway, please pay attention, I'm afraid someone from behind will come to the door." She looked at him with some relief. "Okay, I'll pay attention." He had to do some hard work at night. He was obviously sleepy, so Mukinjian also returned to her room to continue practicing. After another sleepless night, she still walked downstairs feeling refreshed. Descrua saw her coming downstairs and stood up immediately. "Miss Mew is awake. My wife is awake now. Thank you very much." Then he handed her a check and said sincerely, "Miss Mew, please accept it. Aisha and I can continue to be together because of you, so please accept it." Mukinjian did not show any pretense and accepted the check. "Thank you, then I'm welcome." Descrua was very satisfied when she accepted it. After having breakfast, the three of them came to the set together. Everyone found that today's director treated her with extra courtesy and respect, which made them very curious. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 113. Chapter 113, Possessed by a Ghost. After a month of continuous filming, Mukinjian's scene was completely finished. Boy had been laid off honorably half a month ago. Although he was a little reluctant to leave, he still wanted to go back. He didn't want to go back at first, but in the end he was willing to leave after she sent him away. Descrua's wife Aisha has also fully recovered. After a month of conditioning, she has returned to the same condition as before. So she, who had received the box lunch with Boy half a month ago, immediately became the strongest boss after the male and female protagonists. She is basically always present, and her chances of showing up are no less than those of the male and female protagonists. She is a definite dark horse in the movie. When Mukinjian returned to the villa, Aisha immediately surrounded her happily. "Xiao Yanur, how was your filming today?" "Not bad, the film will be finished in a few days, and I may have to return to China by then." Aisha had a look of reluctance. "Ah. That's such a pity, I can't bear to leave you. Why don't you come to country M to go to school, so that we don't have to be separated?" Mukinjian shook her head and smiled bitterly. "Aisha, you can't. Although I also like you very much, my relatives are all in China. If you miss me, you can come to my country to play with me. I can accompany you at any time." "Really, then we can make a decision." "Of course it's true. As long as you come, you can stay as long as you want. I'm just afraid that Mr. Descrua won't be willing to part with it, otherwise I really want to invite you to my house." Aisha blushed slightly. "That's how he is. He has been clinging to me recently and doesn't want me to go anywhere." Mukinjian snickered. "That's not just because you are too beautiful, but also because I'm worried that you might be in danger. Mr. Descrua really loves you, Aisha." Xiao Yanner is more beautiful, by the way. Why doesn't your fiancé come here to see you? I haven't seen what he looks like compared with Boyi, who is more handsome. Looking at her curious expression, he said, well, how should I put it? In terms of appearance, he is handsome, but both of them have their own characteristics. When Descruya came back, he saw them talking about who was handsome. Elsa, am I not handsome anymore? Aisha saw him coming back and said, no. We are talking about Boyi or Xiao Yanner's fiancé, who is handsome. Oh, really, are you sure it's not what you want to see? Mukinjian couldn't help laughing. Mr. Descruya is jealous, that's a sin. After all, Aisha only has eyes for you. The two of them looked at each other lovingly, their eyes full of each other. It was another day of eating dog food for her. He hugged Aisha with a serious tone. Xiao Yan, my friend, a child, suddenly became weird. His whole appearance changed, and his tone of voice was completely different from that of a 7-year-old child. So I want to ask you, do you have any way to deal with this kind of thing? Matter? Mukinjian thought for a moment, wondering why she was possessed by a ghost. If I guessed correctly, I should have been leaned over. Aisha hid in his arms in fear. Is Xiao Yanyan talking about a ghost? Well, that's right, but I need to go and check it myself to know the final result. Descruya nodded, that's no problem. We can go there now. Xiao Yan, do you need to prepare anything? For example, the peachwood sword from your H country, bloody cinnabar and so on. I heard that these can be used to deal with those things. Very useful. Don't bother me. I'll just bring a few talismans. Then he raised the talisman in his hand. The couple looked at each other, and all they needed was a few pieces of yellow paper. The three of them sat in the car and arrived at his friend's house an hour later. He was also a wealthy man. When they got out of the car, a man from country M walked out. Kruya, Miss Aisha, long time no see. Augusta, how is the little guy doing lately? This is Mukinjian, I hope she can help you. He looked at her, she was a very beautiful girl from country H, but how could she help him? Kruya, I know your good intentions, but what can she do? I don't want Anna to be sad and lost. Maybe the child has just changed. We will try to accept him as he is now. Mukinjian stepped forward and said, hello Mr. August, I want to see your child. I have no other intention. Okay, I hope you don't irritate him. Okay. When he took her to a room, there was only a dim yellow light in the house. A boy was sitting on the bed, motionless in a daze. Mukinjian signaled that he could go out and closed the door gently. At this moment, the boy turned his head sharply and bit her with his teeth, grinning. She directly put a talisman on his head, and the boy's face instantly overlapped with another terrifying face. It was true that he was possessed by a ghost. Unfortunately, the boy's physique was unusual and his soul was not completely absorbed by the ghost. Mukinjian stretched out a hand, and huge spiritual power gathered in her hand, grabbing the ghost directly. She pulled the ghost out of the boy's body alive. The male ghost didn't even have a chance to struggle. She pulled it out completely and crushed the ghost. There was no room for him at all. After all, this evil ghost had done many evil things and killed several people during his lifetime. Those who want to be reborn as ghosts after death are not worthy of reincarnation. Looking at the boy who fainted in her arms, she used spiritual power to slowly repair his remaining soul. After all, his soul had been devoured by evil spirits. The boy slowly opened his eyes and looked at a pretty young lady. Whether I go to heaven or not, are you an angel, sister? Mukinjian seemed to be pinching his face. Little angel, do you feel any pain? The boy smiled innocently and looked at her with a pair of beautiful big blue eyes. Sister Angel, I feel a little pain. It's okay if it hurts, it means you are still alive after all. You are such a cute little angel, and the angel will not be willing to take you to heaven. The boy hugged her tightly and smelled her faint fragrance. Sister Angel, you smell so good, Kate likes it very much. Looking at the sleeping Kate, she grabbed her clothes with both hands and had no choice but to hold him and open the door. August saw her son sleeping with her in his arms and asked, "Kate, what's wrong with him?" "I was too tired, so I fell asleep." At this moment, Anna came out and looked at his cute sleeping appearance. She couldn't help covering her mouth and started crying. How long has it been since she last saw his well-behaved appearance? She, Kate, is finally back. Mukinjian looked at the teeth marks and wounds all over her body, and suddenly sighed at the greatness of maternal love. She was about to hand the child to Anna, but the little one held on to her in a daze. "Sister Angel, don't go, don't go." Anna smiled and touched his face. "Miss Mew, please stay with him for a while." "Thank you. It can only be this way." Just like this, she held him in a room alone and practiced all night. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 114. Chapter 114 Returning to China. Hold him until the next morning. Kate opened her eyes and saw her. This was the angel's sister from yesterday. Mukinjian saw that he was awake and opened her eyes. "Is there anything else that feels uncomfortable? Remember to tell your sister if you feel uncomfortable somewhere, okay?" Kate looked at her and said, "Sister Angel, it turns out I wasn't dreaming." "I'm not dreaming." "Put him on the bed and stretch out. Let's go downstairs. You must be hungry." Kate touched her belly and said, "Well, I'm a little hungry." When going downstairs, Kate did not forget to hold Mukinjian's hand and kept looking at her. When Anna and August saw them coming downstairs, Anna stepped forward and hugged him. "My baby Kate, you are finally back." Kate reached out and hugged him. "Mommy, I'm back. This is Sister Angel, she brought me back." "Mommy, Daddy, Kate likes Sister Angel very much." August looked grateful. "Thank you, Miss Mew. If it weren't for you, our lovely Kate would not know when she would come back. Please be sure to accept this invoice. If you need me anywhere, please call me." "You're welcome. Kate and I are also very destined, so I don't want to give you any money. By the way, I have some good news for you. Your wife, Miss Anna, is already 2 months pregnant. Please take a good rest recently and don't be sad anymore." Anna covered her mouth in surprise. "Miss Mew, what are you doing? Am I pregnant?" Mukinjian was a little puzzled. Isn't it normal to be pregnant? After all, you are husband and wife, so don't be too surprised if you have a child. August hugged her and quickly explained, "Miss Mew doesn't know. My wife, Anna, has been diagnosed by the doctor as being unable to continue having children since she gave birth to Kate. So you said that you are 2 months pregnant, which is really disturbing. We were surprised." "That's it, I can confirm that Miss Anna is pregnant with triplets. Congratulations." Anna couldn't stop crying. "I can't believe it. Thank you so much, Miss Mew." "Yes. Miss Mew, you won't accept the money, so what do you need? We, the couple, will definitely help you." Mukinjian looked at Kate and said, "I told you that Kate and I are very close and I want to take him as my disciple. But I need to take him back to China. Are you willing? Although he has recovered from health, his soul has been injured after all. From today on, his world will see a world different from yours, so I hope you can think about it. After all, you are ordinary people, your Kate is no longer an ordinary child." August's face turned pale. What Miss Mew means is that Kate can see those things. Is it because of the influence of this time? Mukinjian nodded. "Yes, that's right." Anna hugged him, her body trembling. She couldn't imagine how her child could grow up safely if Kate could see dead ghosts every day. Kate broke away from Anna's arms with a serious look on her face. "Mommy, Daddy, I want to be with Sister Angel." The couple thought for a while and said, "Okay, we agree that you take Kate back to China. After all, we are indeed ordinary people. I hope Miss Mew can protect him and grow up." "Thank you very much." "You're welcome. As long as I'm here, I will protect him. At the same time, I will also teach him how to protect himself, so please don't worry. You can stay with him these days. This is an amulet to protect you. And the baby in your belly is safe." After dinner, Kate watched her leave with some reluctance. Anna smiled fondly. "Kate, you like your sister very much, don't you? You will go home with your sister in a few days. I hope my Kate can stay with Mommy these days." Kate touched her belly and said, "Mommy, your brothers and sisters will stay with you when I'm not around." August looked at this scene, struggling deeply in his heart. He was very reluctant to leave Kate. But for his safety, we can only let him leave his hometown. Mukinjian returned to the crew again. When Descruya saw her coming back safely, he asked, "Is Kate okay?" "Well, it's okay, I've returned to normal." He was very happy. "Xiao Yan is really amazing, I knew it was right to come to you when I encounter this kind of situation. If I encounter such a situation in the future, can I continue to look for you?" "Of course it's no problem, after all, my company is in this field. If there are any weird things that can't be solved, you can contact me, the more the better." "Haha, okay." After filming for several days, it was finally coming to an end. Everyone gathered together for dinner and drinks. Chatting happily, everyone expressed their reluctance to learn that Mukinjian would be returning to China tomorrow. Iruana sighed, "Time always flies by so fast. Xiao Yana, remember to come back to see us." "Okay, I'll come see you when I have time." Jacques Davis raised his glass and said, "Okay, don't be sad, everyone, drink this glass of wine." We added each other on Weibo and went back to our respective homes. Early the next morning, Mukinjian took Kate to bid farewell to the Augusts and board the plane. The little guy kept holding her hand. It was obvious that it was his first time traveling far away and he was still a little nervous and scared. "Don't be afraid, I have a brother at home who is about the same age as you. He sees different things like you, so you will definitely become good friends," she comforted. "I'm not afraid of Sister Angel. Does my brother see those things like Kate? Will he dislike me?" "Yes, he's fine, so don't worry. Have a good rest, he'll be there soon." A few hours later, the plane arrived at its destination on time and woke him up. By the time she arrived at the airport, Han Yexuan had been waiting for her at the airport. He couldn't wait to hug her and told her that he missed her. Until Mukinjian reminded him that the child was still there, he reluctantly let her go. She looked down at this little foreign boy. This was the new apprentice she was talking about. He was very handsome. Kate was frightened by his sight and hid next to her, holding her hand. She held his hand tightly and said, "It's okay. My brother is my sister's boyfriend. He won't hurt you." Kate looked at the man wearing a strange mask. He was her sister's boyfriend. "Hello brother, my name is Kate." "Hello." The two held his hands as if they were husband and wife, making everyone envious of him, such a beautiful foreign boy. When I was waiting to get in the car, I said, "Xian, nothing happened during my absence. Don't worry. It's okay, they are all very good. It's just that Xiao misses you very much and talks about you several times a day. Jing'er has been abroad for so long, but she already wants to be her husband." She blushed slightly and glared at him, looking down at Kate who was sleeping soundly. "There are children here." "Of course I do. Please be more honest when I'm not around." "Don't worry, I'm very honest after all, I only have Jing'er in my heart." Mukinjian said nothing. She looked at the other party affectionately, as if she was telling her own thoughts. Han Yexuan touched her head lovingly, looking only at her. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 115. Chapter 115 Destroy her system. As soon as Mukinjian arrived home, Mu Xiao happily rushed over to her. Sister, you are finally back. Xiao misses you so much. She hugged him and said, Sister, I miss you too. Sister Xiao brought you a little brother. His name is Kate. Come to Kate, he will be your brother Mu Xiao and Xiao from now on. Kate struggled to read Mu Xiao's name in H Mandarin. Xiao, my name is Kate. Mu Xiao looked at the boy with fair skin and blue eyes. Hello, Kate, you are so beautiful. Kate heard him greet him in the language of his country. Thank you. Mukinjian saw the two little ones starting to play quickly. Sure enough, the children could become friends soon, so she felt relieved. Han Yexuan and Mukinjian were sitting on the eaves, and she was looking at the stars in the sky. Xian, do you think there is a divine realm in this world? He stretched out his arms and hugged her. Qing why are you suddenly curious about this? But according to Mo Linger's strange behavior, she often told something called the system that this was just a book and she was some kind of heroine. Mukinjian's eyes lit up. Could it be that she was wearing a book? Recently, she would read some novels when she had nothing to do. Systematic people were indeed female protagonists. Also, she said that the world is a book, so she is the book wearer. But this world is so real, it shouldn't be like a virtual world. Xian, it seems that I have to settle the accounts with her. She plotted against me in the first place. I haven't settled the accounts with her yet. Now is the perfect time to find out how much she knows about the world. Okay, then I'll ask Dark Flame to capture her, and then you can do whatever you want with her. She raised her head and said, Xian, do you think I'm bad? My Qing'er is not a bad person. When she wanted to kill you, I wanted her life. If Mo Qingcheng hadn't been protecting her secretly, I would have avenged you long ago. Qing'er, he is it's not easy, you have to pay attention to him. Okay, I know. Han Yan got the news and captured Mo Ling and was so happy that he knocked her unconscious with a snake tail. There was no trace of sloppiness or pity at all, he just dragged her back all the way. When others brought her to the secret room, she looked dirty and embarrassed. Mukinjian looked at the little black snake, its temperament was so similar to Dandan. Thank you, Dark Flame, for your hard work. The Dark Flame crawled onto her hand and licked her hand affectionately. You're welcome, mistress, this is what I should do. I've seen her unhappy for a long time. She is ugly but she still wants to be beautiful. She is obsessed with her own world day by day, always thinking that she is the heroine. Mistress, I don't know how narcissistic she is, but she is so beautiful that she feels like all the men in the world should love her. The two of them saw that Dark Flame kept complaining about their thoughts, and they seemed to hate her very much. Ahem, okay, Dark Flame, I'm sorry for you, please go back first. Okay master, I'll leave first. Mukinjian stepped forward and woke her up. When Mo Linger woke up, she found that her whole body was in severe pain. What was going on? She remembered that she was going to put on a facial mask right after taking a shower. She suddenly raised her head and saw Mukinjian. Ah, who are you? These words amused her. Who am I? I am Mukinjian, and you don't even know me. It's you, it's impossible, you weren't killed by me, it's impossible, you can't be alive. She shook her head desperately, unable to believe that the things coming out of the system couldn't kill her. Mo Linger, you are the reborn book piercer, right? What do you want to do to this world? What did you do before? Look into my eyes and speak. Amo Linger looked at her eyes and began to feel in a trance. My name is Han Mina and I was born in a world on Earth. I am Chinese and Korean. I was a movie queen in the 23rd century. I accidentally traveled to this world the day the filming boss fell in love with me, and then I discovered that this world was filming with me. That book is very similar. The male protagonist of that book was Mo Ching Cheng, and the female protagonist was Bai Yao, but she died. Then I became Mo Linger. I wanted to become the heroine of this world and make the male protagonist fall in love with me. But, Mu Qingjian, who was supposed to be dead, actually lived. She still wanted to become the heroine and wanted to steal my male lead. I am the heroine of this world, because now the male lead has also broken off the engagement with me, and everything is her fault, it's all her fault. Mu Qingjian looked at her getting more and more crazy and lifted the spell. Mo Linger regained consciousness and shouted in panic, "What did you do to me? Why would I say such a thing? So you're not Mo Linger, you're Han Mina, right? It's the system that helps you, right? Without it, do you think you can still be the heroine of your dreams?" Mu Qingjian sneered. What do you want to do? The system, please help me. Mo Linger desperately called the system, but the system couldn't contact her at all. She turned around. "Xian, can you destroy the strange system in her head?" Han Yexuan walked up to her and stretched out his hand. "I'll try to see if I can destroy it. But if I destroy it, this woman may not be able to survive." Huge spiritual power controls the chip in her brain, wrapping this chip called the system with spiritual power. Mo Linger felt like her head was about to explode. She struggled desperately. "What are you going to do? The system will come out and save me. You are so strong that you can't be destroyed by them. The controlled system really wants to curse, but it would have run away long ago. She is now controlled by a powerful mental force and cannot even save herself, let alone it." The huge spiritual power directly crushed the system in Mo Linger's head, and Mo Linger felt in disbelief that the system had disappeared. "No. My system, you bastards. Where did my system go? What did you do to my system?" At this time, suddenly a powerful force was sucking Han Mina's soul. Mu Qingjian saw a strange black vortex suddenly appear, trying to Han Mina's soul away. "Xian, be careful, she's about to run away." Han Yexuan waved his hand, and Han Mina's soul was instantly wiped out. The strange black vortex disappeared immediately. This scene was indescribably weird. It seemed that this world was really not simple. Mo Qingjian's people told him that Mo Linger had disappeared, and immediately followed her to Han Yexuan's home, installed a positioning chip on her. Mo Ching Cheng is here, it should be because of her." Mu Qingjian looked at Mo Linger's body lying on the ground. "Just wait. He will know sooner or later anyway. After all, Han Mina is dead, so Mo Linger's body naturally dies as well. Without the support of her soul, Mo Linger's body is just a shell." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 116. Chapter 116. The rightful owner is back. Mo Ching Cheng walked in and saw Mu Qingjian and Han Yexuan, and then saw Mo Linger lying on the ground. He quickly stepped forward and helped the person up, but her body was extremely cold. When I reached out and touched it, I found that there was no breathing and no heartbeat. He couldn't believe it, and finally found out that she was really dead. "Han Yexuan, you actually killed her." Han Yexuan stood in front of her. "The person I killed had nothing to do with Jing. If you want revenge, just come to me." She pulled her back. "I killed her a year ago. I wanted to kill her, but now I just let her life be worth her life." Mo Ching Cheng hugged her. "Did she do this? But you don't need to kill her. When did your Mukinjian's heart become so vicious? Since Han Yexuan appeared, you are like a different person. Mukinjian smiled, you mean, I'm too vicious and she's a good person. In order to kill me, Han Mena caused that big explosion and killed so many people. I only took her life, so I gave her an advantage. No matter how vicious I am much better than her. You should also be able to see that she is not Mo Linger at all. If you want to avenge her, just come to me and I will stick with you until the end. You know I like you, how could I hurt you? Han Yexuan hugged her and said, thank you for your love, but my fiancée doesn't need your love. She only needs me to love her. Mo Ching Cheng, if this is what you like, it's really cheap. Take her away from the Han family. If you want revenge, come to me, Mukinjian. He was heartbroken by the sight of them embracing, so he picked up Mo Linger's body and left Han's house. Han Mena played herself to death like this. She always thought this was a novel world, so she never took human life seriously. She killed innocent people indiscriminately to satisfy her desires, but in the end she still had to pay the price with her life. After Mo Ching Cheng took her body back, he had a coffin delivered. When she was putting the person in, suddenly a bolt of lightning struck her from the sky. The corpse miraculously moved and even opened its eyes. Mo Linger looked at him, Cheng, is that you? Why am I back? Mo Linger remembered that she was injured by a monster, became ill for a long time, and was about to die. Her soul left her body, and soon she saw her body standing up again, which shocked her. In the end, her soul was sucked into a dark space, and no matter how much she used her spiritual power, she could not get rid of it. But a white light suddenly appeared, attracting her in, and she actually returned to her body again. Mo Ching Cheng looked at her, looking at her eyes and tone. He knew that the person in front of him was the real Sister Linger. Sister Linger? Is that you? You are really back. He held her in his arms. Mo Linger rubbed his head gently, my Cheng has grown so big, time flies so fast. Sister Linger, I miss you so much. I rescued you from the mysterious realm, but found that you seemed to be a different person. Later I slowly felt that something was wrong with her, and I knew that my sister Linger will be the bad guy. Cheng, there are no bad guys and good guys, just good and evil. It seems that she used my body to do a lot of bad things, I'm sorry. Mo Ching Cheng nodded, yes, so she is dead. Mo Linger jumped out of the coffin, Xiaoi and Adong are fine. I haven't seen them for a long time. You have grown so big, but my memory still stays when you were little. They are very good. I had a conflict with he and I have no contact. She looked into the distance, Cheng, tell me about your situation in the past few years. I want to hear what she did when she was in my body. Mo Ching Cheng told her the truth, from when they were looking for her to when they found her. She truthfully confessed all the weird things she had done this year and the things she did to Mukinjian. Mo Linger also understood what was going on. Cheng, you like that girl named Mukinjian, right? Then why don't you go after her? He smiled bitterly and said, Sister Linger, I used to think of her as you. Then I was slowly attracted to her and then I really liked her. I'm sorry, Sister Linger, I feel like I don't deserve love. He thought the person he liked was Sister Linger, but when he thought Mukinjian was Sister Linger, he fell in love with her again. So for a person like him, just like she said, his love is really cheap. Mo Linger hugged him and said, it's not your fault. Emotional matters are beyond your control. Just understand what you want. Sister Linger, thank you, she already has someone she likes. That person is very good and loves her very much, so I gave up completely. At this moment, he also figured out that his liking for her was not as deep as he thought, but he was just unwilling to do so. At this moment, he blessed her and wished her happiness forever. There is no point in continuing to get entangled. Mo Linger felt relieved when she saw that he had figured it out. After all, she hopes that her Cheng can meet his love. Even if that person is not her, she sincerely hopes that he will be happy. A person who cultivates immortality can afford to let go of love, so she did not blame Mo Cheng for being carefree or disloyal. Heartbeat is instinct, loyalty is choice. After all, he did think of Mu Qingjian as her, so he can't be entirely blamed. Mu Qingjian didn't know that she killed Han Mena, but instead saved the real Mo Linger. It was really fantastic. On the second day, Mo Cheng brought Mo Linger to Bo's house. Bo Yi looked at Mo Linger in front of him, feeling an inexplicable intimacy deep in his heart. "Sister Linger, are you me?" Looking at him asking 2 question marks in a row, she smiled helplessly. "I'm sorry Xiaoi, the old Mo Linger caused you a lot of confusion, but now I'm back." Now he finally believed that the person in front of him was the real Mo Linger. "It's really your sister Linger. Welcome back. I'll tell you why you were so weird before. Xiaoi, is Miss Mu at home?" "She is here Sister Linger, please come into the house quickly." The two of them were sitting on the sofa. Mu Qingjian walked downstairs and saw Mo Linger sitting on the sofa. He was obviously stunned for a moment. Why was she alive again? She shouldn't be. It's not right. The aura on her body has also changed. She is now an early stage Jindan. It seems that the real Mo Linger is her. Unexpectedly, they killed Han Mena and actually brought her back to life again. This made her sigh that there was something strange in this world. Logically speaking, there should not be so many rebirths. After all, it is impossible for heaven to allow such things to happen one after another, unless there is a problem with heaven. Mo Linger raised his head and looked at the girl in front of him. Her cultivation level was actually higher than hers. She herself couldn't see her current level of cultivation. No wonder the person pretending to be herself couldn't defeat her. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 117. Chapter 117 Apologize at the door. Mo Linger smiled slightly at her and said, "Miss Mu, I'm sorry for causing you a lot of trouble recently. Please forgive me for knowing you in that way." "I'm very sorry." Mu Qingjian nodded in acceptance. "It's not your fault. You don't need to apologize for her. Congratulations on your freedom," she said softly and kindly. "Well, thanks to you, I have the chance to come back." "Thank you, Miss Mu. If you need my help with anything, please come to me. And Cheng, please forgive him." Cheng came over and apologized to Miss Mu. Mo Cheng walked up to her and lowered his head. "I'm sorry Mu Qingjian, I shouldn't have hurt you with my words. Please forgive me, and I wish you happiness." Seeing his sincere attitude, Mu Qingjian forgave him. "Well, thank you for your blessing. I forgive you and I wish you all the same." Mo Linger blushed slightly. "Thank you for your blessing, then we won't disturb you." Looking at the two people leaving, Boy couldn't help but step forward. "Xiao Yanyan, what are you looking at?" "Oh, I didn't see much, I just sighed that he was practicing 2 pairs of things." "Ahem, what?" Boy was obviously shocked by these words. Mo Cheng and Mo Linger actually practiced dual cultivation. Mu Qingjian rolled her eyes at him and said, "This is not normal. Men and women can practice dual cultivation. This way, cultivation can be faster. Of course, don't imitate others. After all, you can't find Mo Linger with such a high cultivation level. It's just a pity that all the purple energy in his body is gone. Although he speeds up his cultivation, it is difficult to become an immortal." "Xiao Yanyan, how come you don't even know whether someone has dual cultivation or not? How can you tell this?" he asked curiously. "You can see it, and when you reach my level of cultivation, you can do it too. Haha, really, I think let's forget it. I still don't know what your level is. It's a bit of a pipe dream to surpass you. Mukinjian looked at him with admiration. Well, yes, it's good to be a little more enlightened, but I like you. After saying that, she patted him, looking like an old mother. Bo Yi's mouth twitched. You shouldn't encourage me and say you can definitely surpass me. I'm optimistic about you. Tisk tisk, watch less TV. It's just a daydream to surpass me. Let's be more realistic. It's true to be down to earth. After all, if you can step into my cultivation, you will probably be a bachelor for 1,000 years. If you want, it's not impossible. What, 1,000 years, you think I'm a 1,000-year-old monster? If I could live for that long, I'd probably become an antique and be worshipped every day. And what's your idea? Let's hear it. He is still curious about this, how he can live for 1,000 years. That's Buddhist cultivation. When a monk has no distracting thoughts, he will naturally practice faster. But if you are really suitable for developing in that way, it will be very helpful for your cultivation. You can reach a certain level in less than 100 years. But the only requirement is you just have to keep your virginity. Don't break the precept. Are you interested? Do you need me if I have the Buddhist practice? Mukinjian raised her eyebrows and patted her pocket, indicating that she did. Kung Fu. Bo Yi took a few steps back with a disgusted expression. I am your brother-in-law, and you actually asked me to become a monk. You are too cruel. She ran to her mother-in-law with a sad look on her face. Mom, Xiao Yan asked me to become a monk. Do you think she didn't regard me as her brother-in-law? Is there anyone who supports her brother-in-law to become a monk? Mom, do you think she isn't that too much? The doctor's mother looked him over and said, you can't be a monk. Now that you have a diploma to be a monk, your academic qualifications are not low. Xiao Yan looks down on you a little. If you can become a monk, your father and I will burn incense and worship Buddha. This made Boyi pretend to be shocked, covering his heart and saying, Mom, how could you say that about your own son? Mukinjian couldn't help but smile and said, the heart is wrong, it's on the other side. Haha. Everyone laughed at him, which made Boyi blush slightly, indicating that he was careless. Mu Xiao and Kate sat together and couldn't help covering their mouths and snickering. Kate, my brother-in-law is going to become a monk, but Grandma said he is not worthy. Kate smiled and said, monk? What does it mean? Mukinjian walked up to him and explained with a smile that he was a person with a shaved head and could only eat vegetables but no meat every day. This surprised Kate, and she shook her head sadly with her beautiful blue eyes. My uncle is so pitiful. He can only eat grass. Doesn't that mean he will become a herbivorous animal? Haha, that uncle will definitely turn into a sheep. No, I think it's a deer. Bo Yi stepped forward and hugged the two little guys. I'm still here, uncle. How dare you speak to me in front of me? It makes my skin itch. Haha, uncle, stop scratching, it's so itchy. Kate knows it's wrong, stop scratching it. The two little guys laughed so much that they shed tears, and their mother-in-law clapped their hands. You are so old, but you still bully a child. Mu Xiao and Kate hid behind Grandma Bo, sticking out their tongues playfully. Slightly. Forget it, my lord is not as knowledgeable as you, so I have to eat and drink. Lao Bo saw this harmonious scene when he came back from his morning exercise, and his face was filled with relief. It felt like home like this. What are you laughing at? Let me be happy too. Mu Xiao ran to him and said, Grandpa, brother-in-law, he wants to be a monk. Grandma said he can't become a monk. Oh. That's it? Xiao, if you really want to be a monk, it's not impossible. You need your father and I to ask someone to send you there. Why did you suddenly realize that you want to be a monk? But being a monk is also a good way to calm down. It suits you very well, Mr. Bo agreed. Pfft, Dad, don't make trouble. I don't want to be a monk. You don't really want to send me in. I suddenly remembered that I have something else to do. I made an appointment with Dongling, and my parents are so cute. I'm going out now, bye. After saying that, he ran away quickly, for fear that his father would send him to become a monk. The doctor shook her head and sighed, this child. Bolao looked at Boy who ran away without a trace. Didn't he want to be a monk? Why did he disappear when I helped him? Sigh, as expected, his belief is still not firm, so he should be sent to be a monk. Ahem, that grandpa eats breakfast. Mukinjian suppressed a smile. Having no idea of his own opinion, he almost sent Boy to become a monk. Boy ran out. I was almost sent to be a monk by my father, but luckily I was smart and ran fast. Mukinjian was teaching Kate how to practice recently, and he was very smart and learned it quickly. She was right about him, he was indeed a genius in cultivation, and it was not in vain for her to take him back to the country. She is also considering giving Kate a country name. Kate, do you want to give it the same name as Xiao? Kate stopped practicing. Sister, is it really okay? I can also give a name as special as Xiao. Then you'll be called Mu Xiaorui from now on, okay? Kate nodded and smiled happily. Thank you, sister, I like it very much. From now on, Kate will have his own country name Mu Xiaorui, and this name will accompany him throughout his life. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 118. Chapter 118 A Kiss for Life. After Han Yexuan finished his work, he came to Bo's house. Seeing that she was teaching Xiao and the others how to practice, he walked over. Qing didn't you say last time that I never had time to accompany you? Should we go to the amusement park today? As soon as he heard about the amusement park, he immediately raised his head excitedly. Sister, you want my brother-in-law to go to the amusement park without taking me and Xiaorui with you? Brother-in-law, you only want to take my sister to play alone. I don't want to love you anymore. Okay, don't bully your brother-in-law, let's go to the playground together today. Mu Xiao happily said to him, Xiaorui, we are going to the amusement park to play together. Are you happy? So happy, I haven't been to the amusement park, I just saw it on TV at home. Because his parents are very busy, his parents rarely take him to the playground, and he has a lot to learn every day. Xiaorui, we will take you to the amusement park in the future, he. Thank you Xiao, I'm so happy to be here. Han Yexuan secretly held her hand and whispered, Qing I still want to be alone with you. Mu Qingjian pinched his waist and said, it's not like we don't have time. I just want to take them to play together. All right. Looking at him complaining, when the two little guys weren't paying attention, he raised his big hand and gave it a kiss. As a result, he took off half of his mask and turned his face sideways. Qing I want it here too. Making her blush, she secretly kissed her quickly, and then he smiled with satisfaction. Mu Xiao raised her head and saw the two of them sneaking around. Sister, what are you and your brother-in-law doing? Ahem, I think his mask is crooked, so I'll help your brother-in-law straighten it out. Oh, that's it, sister, let's go quickly, Xiaorui and I are going to ride the roller coaster. Okay, let's go. Good. Grandma Bo put 2,000 cash in their school bags for the two little guys and told them not to run around. The two little guys nodded happily. I know, Grandma. Goodbye, Grandma. Mu Xiao took his hand and sat in the back seat. Mu Xiaorui fastened his seat belt obediently. Xiaoyu, please fasten your seat belt. Seeing the scene of their love, she couldn't help but hold Han Yexuan's hand. She suddenly wondered if her and Xian's children would be cute in the future. but currently, she would not consider having children until Xiao and the others were under 20 years old. After all, those who cultivated immortals had only been in seclusion for more than 10 years. It's just a matter of time. A group of 4 people came to the largest and most luxurious amusement park. There were everything in it and the 2 little guys were dazzled by it. Mu Xiao pointed to the ultra-high roller coaster and said excitedly, "Xiaorui, this is a roller coaster. It's super exciting. Do we want to go there? It seems like it's fun, I want to play." Mu Qingjian took his hand and said, "Then let's go together." Great. The 2 little guys ran over hand in hand, but the staff said they were too young to play. This made the 2 little guys a little unhappy. "Sister and brother-in-law, they don't want us to play, but Xiaorui and I really want to play." She went to the staff to explain, but they still refused to let her go, even when she gave up. The manager of the amusement park came over and said, "Mr. Han, you are bringing your children to play today too." Han Yexuan glanced at the 2 little guys and said, "If the 2 kids want to ride the roller coaster, you need to give them a certificate. Then ask the staff to take them to play all the things they want to do in the amusement park, and I agree to go to the meeting with your company." Cooperation projects. The playground manager's eyes lit up. "Haha, Mr. Han will be fine. Leave it to me to take care of the 2 young masters. I'm afraid of neglecting the staff." He was very happy to think of sacrificing his time to play with the 2 children and the cooperation would be settled. Han Yexuan brought Mu Xiao and Mu Xiaorui to him. "Xiaorui, this uncle is the biggest in this playground. If you want to play, just ask this uncle to take you to play. What about you and your sister, brother-in-law? Your sister and I are strolling around the area. If you need something, just call us." "Okay, sister, I'll see you later. I'm going to take Xiaorui to ride the roller coaster." The manager of the amusement park saw how exciting the 2 little guys were playing, and suddenly regretted the boast. Mu Qingjian saw him sending the 2 little guys away. "Why did you let others take care of them? Are you relieved?" He put his arm around her waist and said, "Don't worry, Qing-er. He will protect the 2 little ones, and they also need to be independent. Now let's continue our date." Now she finally knew what he was thinking about. "You are the smart one, I want to drink milk tea." "Okay, Na Qing-er is waiting for me here." She sat on a chair and looked at the 2 little guys in the distance who were having a great time. As a result, he turned around and came back. "Why are you so fast?" "A few people just asked me to buy it first, so it's fast." He inserted the straw carefully, and then took her hand. The height of the 2 and her good looks attracted many tourists to watch and take candid photos. "Xian, why don't we go ride that Ferris wheel? I heard that many couples go there." "Okay, as long as Qing-er likes it." The staff checked twice, and when they saw Mu Qingjian, they were obviously sluggish for a while. Han Yexuan hugged her into his arms, covered her face in his chest and brought her in. The staff member saw that the boyfriend was jealous and immediately touched his nose in embarrassment. She stuck her head out and said, "Xian, what's wrong? It happened all of a sudden. I don't like the way other people look at you, they're jealous." "Ahem, I'm jealous just like that. Why are you jealous so easily?" The 2 of them slowly ascended as the Ferris wheel rose, and the entire amusement park came into view, including the 2 little guys eating ice cream. The amusement park at night is so beautiful with its colorful lights. I have to say, the scenery is really beautiful. Han Yexuan took off his mask, revealing his overly handsome face. "Qing-er." She turned her head and was hugged by him. Kissing her passionately, he didn't leave her red lips until dozens of seconds later. The corner of his mouth raised a smile. "Qing-er, I heard that a couple kisses on the Ferris wheel for life, and they will be together forever." "Listen to who said it?" "Who said that?" "My husband hasn't checked it out, but I think it's quite right. So I decided to set an example." Ching-er was satisfied just now. He looked at her with a handsome smile and looked at her red face. Red lips. You are a gangster, very bad. Don't worry, Ching-er, even if your husband is a bad guy, he is only a bad guy to you. Looking at her shy look, Han Yexuan couldn't help teasing her, but Mu Qingjian bit him directly on the lip. Hiss, Ching-er hurts. He licked the lip that was bitten by her. Ching-er, when did you learn to bite? You bully me, I can't beat you, and I can't bite you. The two people looked at each other. In this moment of affectionate gaze, each other only saw each other. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 119. Chapter 119 Preferences and Exceptions. Han Yexuan bought a beautiful garland and then put it on her head. Ching-er is so beautiful. Mu Qingjian suddenly had an idea when she saw a wolf ear. Xian, you lower your head, you are too high. He lowered his head obediently and was forced by her to put on the wolf ears. Ha, Xian suits you very well, you're so cute. With a helpless look on his face, he picked a rabbit ear clip and clamped it on her head. Okay, that's even the deal. The people nearby looked at them and were so sweet. She seems to be Mu Qingjian, the man wearing the mask is so tall. Well, I am so sweet, the air is filled with the smell of love. Oh my god, that masked man is so gentle to her. Think of her boyfriend at home, he's just a nerd and a straight man. Stop talking, I admit that I am jealous. I ate this dog food voluntarily. The two of them didn't care about other people's opinions and continued shopping. Going to the front, she found a shooting game. She took a fancy to a big bad wolf monster that was cute and looked very similar to the wolf ears on Han Yexuan's head. She walked to the front and swiped her card. He turned around and said with a smile, Xian, it's up to me. I'll give you this small country for you. Okay, let's wait for my husband. He gently lifted up her wind-blown hair and said with a doting look on her face. The boss laughed loudly after hearing this. Little girl, don't overdo it. Haha. People nearby gathered around her. What does she want to do? Does she want to knock down these big plush dolls? This is too far. It's not like a roadside stall that's only a few meters away. This must be 7 or 8 meters away. It doesn't feel possible. Mu Qingjian took a good posture and restrained her cynical attitude. Then boss, you can't cheat. Watch carefully. Hold the spear steadily with your hand, and move forward with a dash of power and grace. Bang, shot into the soul and directly hit the first balloon. Then he made a quick upper block in one breath, and all 10 bullets hit the target. The people around him applauded. Well done. Ching-er is awesome. She pretended to be calm when he praised her like a child. Ahem, basic operations, don't praise me. Han Yexuan stopped teasing her when he saw her ears were reddish. After all, he didn't want others to see Ching-er's cuteness. The boss happily handed her the stuffed big bad wolf. Young girl is pretty good. Her shooting skills are pretty good. Have you practiced? She happily took it. I practiced it during military training, and I know a little bit about it. Xian, this is for your big bad wolf. He is a big man holding a giant big bad wolf, and coupled with the wolf ears on his head, the contrast is so cute that the girls around him glance at him secretly. It's a pity that he only had eyes for her, and didn't give any passers-by a glance. This outsider is aloof and gentle to his girlfriend, making other girls envious of her boyfriend's preference and exception for her. The boss handed her the bullet. Then you still want to play? Let's play, I want all those big dolls. Mu Xiao and Mu Xiaoyue held hands and ate candied haws of water with happy expressions on their faces. but the playground manager behind them looked tired. These two children were so tossing. He had been playing with them for several hours. Suddenly Mu Xiao found that there were many people surrounding him, and he immediately pulled him in and squeezed in. The manager of the amusement park made a sad face and said, "Hey, my little ancestors, stop running around. Go and see them quickly, don't let those two children make any mistakes." Receipt, manager, two staff members hurriedly chased after him. The two children were small and quickly squeezed in, only to see Han Yexuan holding several big toys. "Brother-in-law. What are you doing? Why are you wearing wolf ears on your head?" "Xiao, my sister is also wearing bunny ears, so cute." Mu Xiaoyui pointed to the bunny ears on Mu Qingjian's head. "That is true." Seeing them coming, Han Yexuan handed something to them directly. "Your sister gave this to you, take it carefully." Mu Xiao is holding the big white bear, and Mu Xiaoyui is holding the big white rabbit. He tilted his head and said, "But brother-in-law, I like the big bad wolf in your hand." He glanced at him and said, "No, you are a bear more powerful than a wolf, you deserve that." "Oh well." He hugged the oversized stuffed bear and said, "Sister, I also want that big dinosaur. Xiaorui and I want the same one." "Okay, you wait." Soon we finally got the two big dinosaurs. Since there were too many toys, several staff members quickly helped them hold them. The boss suffered heavy losses, but he was not unhappy. Instead, he happily got over it. "Little girl, should you consider becoming a soldier?" "Thank you. I don't have that idea at the moment." "Thank you, boss. The extra money is for us to buy. We can't let you lose too much." The boss looked pitiful. "Well, what a pity." A young man came back and saw that all his large stuffed animals were gone. "I just left for a while and then got beaten up, right?" The old man looked at him and said, "There was a powerful little girl who defeated them all just now. It's a pity that she didn't become a soldier." Uncle Ling, why don't you stop her? How can I continue to do business?" Uncle Ling had a disgusted expression. "What's the business? Go home, your dad is in trouble." "What, then why didn't you say it? You are in a hurry to go to the toilet, can you blame me? If I hadn't found you, you wouldn't have even planned to go back." The man packed his things and said, "I know, let's go, Uncle Ling, go back." Mu Qingjian and others on the side went home with great achievements, and the two little guys fell asleep in the car holding their toys. Bo Yi saw them coming back and saw that the two little guys were so sleepy that they could hardly keep their eyes open, so he planned to carry the dolls for them. The two little guys hugged their dolls tightly. "Uncle, let's take it ourselves. Then you go upstairs and take a shower and go to bed, don't chat at night." "No." Mu Qingjian hugged her white rabbit and waved to him. "Xian, you go to bed early, good night." "Okay, good night." Bo Yi looked at each of them with a big doll. "You are going to rob a doll store?" "No. I got it from playing shooting games in the amusement park. Do you have anything to do with me?" He knew that something was wrong with him as soon as he saw her, which was really impressive. There have been a lot of magical beasts in the deserted forest recently. Dongling and I are going to go and experience it. By the way, I want to see how my cultivation is now, so I want you to help me get rid of my dad." "Who else?" Bo Yi said cautiously. "Well, there are also Sister Ling and Mo Ching Chang." "Okay. I feel more at ease with her here, so you can go ahead. Leave Grandpa and Grandma to me." He, thank you, Xiao Yan'er. He really needs to experience himself, otherwise just practicing without any actual combat experience will not be enough. Those monsters should have escaped from the mysterious realm last time. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 120. Chapter 120, saving people and catching the fox demon. Boyi rushed to the deserted forest early on the second day. Mr. Bo watched him sneak away carrying a large capacity travel bag. Shaking his head helplessly and sighing, the child has grown up after all. Mukinjian came to Bolao and said, "Grandpa, he needs training. Although it is dangerous, it is the fastest growing experience. Grandpa, don't worry, Bingfen will save him if his life is in danger. Ice Phoenix, it's so small and so powerful for a little bird. Grandpa, don't underestimate it, it is very strong and not weaker than me, so don't worry, everything will be fine if you have it." Lao Bo nodded and smiled, "You have all grown up and have your own goals in life. I can't stay with you for long. Grandpa, you will live a long life, it is okay to let Bo Lao and the others live to be more than 100 years old." Lao Bo knew that she was capable and was relieved. The phone rang, and she picked up the phone and answered it. As a result, Tanyu's cry for help came, "Master, help me. There are monsters. I'm, Dudu." Mukinjian knew they were in trouble and rushed over immediately. The monster liked a young boy like him the most. He saw that the call was directly interfered, and Tanyuj was so angry that he cursed, "You despicable and shameless fox demon." The fox demon looked at him, and instead of being angry, he smiled and said, "You might as well obey me. It's no use calling you master, so just become my slave. Get out of here, I don't like this, and I will defend my integrity to the death." Old man Zhang looked at Tanyuj and winked at him, "Xiaozhe, why don't you just follow this girl? She is still a fairy after all." The fox demon chuckled happily, the old man is very good at talking. It's a pity that he is a little old, but it's okay. He is a man after all." Old man Zhang regretted it when he saw that one of his words would end his old age. "I won't be able to enjoy it at this old age. You'd better find him, young man. He's much better than an old man like me." Tanyuj saw old man Zhang looking at him and was about to cry, "Holy shit, Grandpa Zhang, I can't enjoy it either. I don't want to." The fox demon saw that both of them looked disgusted with him, and said angrily, "You dare to dislike me, you are so presumptuous." "Who is so presumptuous? You, a low-level fox demon with no illusions, dare to think of my apprentice." The fox demon saw a person appear silently behind him, and jumped to the side in fright. "Who are you? Why can't I feel your presence? It doesn't matter who I am. You said that you, a little fox demon, are just a ghost fox. How dare you possess a human body and the yang energy? Do you know your sin?" The fox laughed loudly, "Why am I guilty? They humans were guilty when they harmed our clan. When they humans were wearing our clan's fur, they were guilty. I just sucked their yang energy, how could I? There is sin." Mukinjian sighed, "They killed innocent lives and they will be punished when they are reincarnated in hell. Why should you destroy your own reincarnation? Haha, I don't accept it. My children and husband were killed by humans. I want to kill all the men and avenge my children and them." The fox demon was arrogant and domineering. "Since you are obsessed with it, don't blame me. You have become a demon and I will not let you continue to harm human beings. Your original intention has changed. You are no longer simply seeking revenge, but you want to obtain powerful demonic power." The fox demon, who was exposed by Mukinjian, smiled coldly, "So what if you know, take your life. If you dry, I will be a real fox fairy." Mukinjian looked at her with disdain, "You still want to become a fox fairy, so stop daydreaming." The fox demon emerges from the human body and transforms into its prototype. "Whoever stops me will die." He opened his big mouth and tried to swallow her, but she held up her big mouth with one hand. She looked displeased and said, "Fox demon, you have bad breath. Remember to brush your teeth. It almost made me throw up my breakfast. Ah, I'm going to kill you." Mukinjian directly picked up its big tail and started throwing it up and down on the ground, beating it until it fainted with foam at the mouth. He casually took out a magic weapon from his pocket and sucked the female fox demon into it. Tanyuj and Old Man Zhang swallowed saliva subconsciously when they saw her being so fierce. What a terrifying power! It seems that I can't make her angry anymore, otherwise this fox demon will suffer the end. Master, it's a good thing you came early, otherwise my moral integrity would be gone. It would be too scary. He looked scared. Old Man Zhang patted his chest and said, "Come on, you young man will be fine if you suffer a little loss." "Old man, I almost lost my life insurance in the evening." Mukinjian looked at them funny. "Okay, you are all intact, what are you doing here?" Old Man Zhang pointed at the woman on the ground. "This is not Old Man Ling." His eldest son was fascinated by this woman and insisted on marrying her home. Then they came to me and asked if he was possessed by a ghost, so I took the little boy with him. Zhe came over together. The test turned out to be a fox demon face. She will our yang energy dry after we find out. Fortunately, we have many amulets. It just traps us and cannot catch us. Mukinjian stepped forward and felt the woman's pulse. "It's okay. She will recover in a few days." The woman opened her eyes and looked at a group of strange people. "Who are you? What do you want to do?" Tanyuj shook his head desperately. "We have done nothing and are not interested in you." The woman looked up and down to see if she was okay, and quickly stood up. "You must be sick. It's inexplicable. Trouble comes from the mouth, you should pay attention when you go back." She looked at her coldly. The woman was frightened by her eyes and ran back quickly. As a result, on the way back, I fell so badly that my nose was bruised and my face was swollen. At this time, Ling Yuan slowly stood up and asked, "What's wrong with me?" Old Man Zhang stroked his beard and said, "My dear nephew, do you know what you have done recently?" His face was full of doubts. "Uncle Zhang, what did I do? Why don't I remember it?" You made a divorce and married another woman. Your wife was so angry that she ran back to her parents' home and her son disappeared." Ling Yuan was stunned. "What? Impossible, how could I marry someone else?" When Ling Xian came back, he saw him fine but with an angry look on his face. "Uncle Ling, is what you said he was going to die? I thought he was fine. You actually lied to me." After saying that, he was about to leave, but Ling Yuan held him back. "Xiao Yan, what's wrong with you? I don't know what I did during this time, but I'm sure it wasn't me." Seeing that they were making trouble because of the fox demon, I had no choice but to explain to him. "Your father was possessed by the fox demon, and what he did during this period was not his doing. I believe you can also detect it. You should know best what kind of person he is." A noblewoman came out. "Awan, is that you?" Ling Yuan saw her. "Xiao, you have to believe me, I just woke up. I just remember that I went to buy you a birthday gift, met a woman, and then I woke up again and was here." She hugged him and said, "I knew he was not you, Weavu, you are finally back. Xiao Yu, I'm sorry for making you sad." Now the misunderstanding was resolved. Ling Xian returned to the Ling family, and the family lived in harmony again. Uncle Ling saw Mukinjian and said, "Little girl, we meet again." She looked at yesterday's shooting game boss. "It's you." Uncle Ling nodded. "I didn't expect you to be a capable person." "Not bad. Where is it? Since he is fine, we will go back." Mr. Ling came over and said, "Thank you, Master, for saving my son. This is a small gesture. Please accept it." Took it and said, "You're welcome, we'll go back first." "Okay, Master, walk slowly." Uncle Ling looked at her leaving figure with admiration. This little girl is quite capable. End of this chapter.